Transformers Fall of Cybertron is one of my favorite video games ever made, period. And I'll tell you why. But first, some context. Working in nostalgic video games, I get asked all the time, what are your suggestions for whatever system people are shopping for? And usually after pointing to any of the various LEGO games that are on the shelf, I'll ask, do you like Transformers? If the answer is yes, or maybe, or I don't know, but not always been kind of interested, I will tell you to play Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Fall of Cybertron was released in 2012 on the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. It did receive a sort of next-gen update. It wasn't really a remaster, it was just sort of like an upscale for PS4 and Xbox One. I don't think those were ever released physically, and they were only available digitally, and I have no idea if you can still buy them anymore. I do know the game was taken off of Steam because Activision is poopy stinky, but you can still get it on Amazon and I think websites like GOG. Nostalgia-wise, this game ranks really high on the list for me because it was the first game I ever played on my own Xbox 360. I didn't get a 360 till I was in 6th grade. I got it for Christmas from my parents, and it was because of this game. The year leading up to that Christmas, this game was announced, and one of my favorite pastimes as a kid was just to go to Transformers.com, kill some time. And one day, their website was transformed. Everything was Transformers Fall of Cybertron with a spotlight, centerpiece on this beautiful cinematic trailer featuring the song Humbling River by Pussifer. And wow, oh my god, that is still probably my favorite video game trailer ever. It's just, there's something about how cinematic this trailer is, and the fact that the game actually holds up to that. Yeah, of course, that isn't actual gameplay footage, it is a cinematic trailer, but wow, does the game get pretty damn close to actually feeling like that trailer. I ran into my parents' room with the laptop and was like, Mom, Dad, look at this, I need an Xbox 360. Usually that kind of begging didn't work on my parents, but you could play Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2 through backwards compatibility, so my dad was totally down. Christmas Day, I hooked my Xbox 360 up and I played Fall of Cybertron for the first time, and my little brain just... I've always loved Transformers. It's been a part of my childhood since the beginning. Just like Godzilla, it was one of those things that I would grab off the shelf at Blockbuster and be like, "Whoa, this is so cool, y'all." But growing up, the main pop culture influence Transformers had was... I am directly below! Enemy scrotum! So getting something like Fall of Cybertron in such a beautiful format is just... it was a dream come true. Enough about how much I love it. What about the actual game itself? Fall of Cybertron is technically a sequel to Transformers War for Cybertron, which came out a few years earlier on the 360 and PS3. There was also Cybertron Adventures on the Wii that's like a rail shooter. Needless to say, these games were pretty dang cool as well. I played Cybertron Adventures on my Wii, and I loved it. I loved the aesthetic, the like grungy, almost like military, like weird alien Cybertronian designs. It spoke to me. It was such a cool in-between between, the hyper-realistic and detailed Bayformers designs, but they actually still looked like the characters they were supposed to be. Not only that, War for Cybertron had an amazing story, and Fall of Cybertron took it a step further. War for Cybertron was a test run. Fall of Cybertron was the culmination of the art piece. A lot of times when people say a game is cinematic, it means it's, a Telltale game, or something like The Last of Us, where you watch really long cutscenes, or you're just doing quick time events, and, things like Until Dawn. Those games don't really speak to me all that much. I like to play and experience the game as if I am actually controlling the character, if I am the character. It's not to say that those other games don't have their place in the community, they absolutely do, but Fall of Cybertron gave me the perfect mix. Fall of Cybertron is a linear, level-based game where you experience the final days of the struggle between the Autobots and Decepticons on Cybertron. This game is war. The Autobots are losing and they need to get out. They need to find a way to leave the planet because it's the only option they have left. This game is sad and serious when it needs to be, putting you in the shoes of Optimus Prime when he has to make the decision to tell all of his fellow Cybertronians that we have to leave our home because we are losing. It makes you feel the weight of those decisions, but then you get to play as other characters such as Bumblebee, who at this point doesn't talk, but you have Cliffjumper and Jazz, who are so much fun in this game. Oh my god, they always treat my boys so bad. They always rip them in half. But you also play as Decepticons throughout it, like Starscream and Megatron, and Swindle, as well as the combined Combaticons as Bruticus. This game is the reason the Combaticons are some of my favorite Transformers. Swindle is just, he's so cool. He's so awesome. The levels are huge with beautiful detail and amazing arena set pieces for you to just wage war. When you play as Bruticus or the Dinobot Grimlock, you are a machine of destruction. Bruticus, you're ripping through walls, destroying people with your flamethrowers and your spinny helicopter shield thing. As Grimlock, you've got a big-ass sword, and you're slicing up Insecticons, and then you transform into a dinosaur, dude. And you breathe fire, and you're just ripping things. There's something so primally satisfying about large robots that look really cool and like edgy and like dinosaurs, and then there's bugs and there's lots of explosions and stuff.
Because this is what it does. It appeals to like the male fantasy.
Excuse me.
This game's metal as hell. Oh my god, metal. The music. The soundtrack of this game is stellar. I used to listen to it while doing homework as a kid because it would get me in got me in the mood, got me focused. I'm not going to spoil any of the story because if you're a Transformers fan, you probably already know it. But if you're not, there's some really cool things that happen. But you don't have to be a Transformers fan to enjoy this game. It's such a great entry point to the series for people. A lot of people I knew growing up were like, I don't really like Transformers. It's kind of stupid. They're aliens. Why do they transform into cars? Well, they don't. They transform into alien cars, dude, before they go to Earth and they scan the Earth all modes. Do you even know your lore? This kind of explains it, and it works as a very good introduction. Even though it's a sequel of a game, you don't need to know all of the story of the previous game. This just might be my favorite piece of Transformers media, period. If you know me, I'm a toy guy. I'm the toy manager at Nostalgic, and they released toys for this game, and I have all of them. It's kind of an issue. It's a problem I deal with. It's probably some sort of disease, like brain rot. There's like a worm. There's a Crimzeek in my head, just like white Transformer. I get too excited about this game. I'm sorry. I need to take a break. In the end, the game is a campaign-based game, and when you're done, you're done. It's so much fun to replay. There's so many Easter eggs and little things to find and upgrades to get to all the guns, so you get a lot of replayability out of it. But there was a multiplayer. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, the multiplayer servers have been shut down. But I can't tell you how many hours I spent because you got to make your own Transformers. There was amazing customizability, there were some awesome multiplayer maps, and such a fantastic community. I actually was a part of this machinima team for a little while, making little machinima movies and short films within the game, and it was so much fun. Those are some of the most memorable times I've ever had playing video games. Go check out Johnny Flash's channel. I still think my artwork is his channel banner, which is just crazy to think about. I love that guy to death. I love everybody else who was involved with those machinimas. Just keep your eye out for Colossal Badger in those credits because, yeah, I did Starscream a lot. He was my man. If you're a Transformers fan, you'll absolutely love Johnny's videos. They're hilarious. And we modded the crap out of that game. There was people on that team who, in their free time, would just sit and scroll through the INI file and just mess with things and mod the game, and oh my god, like, we were merging different customized parts, we were making giant things. It was insane, and you really have to watch some of these videos to, just get a taste of how much fun it was. Even though the multiplayer isn't really around anymore, I still cannot suggest this game enough. I need to cut myself off, or else I will continue to talk about this game for the rest of time. It is one of the reasons High Moon is one of my favorite video game developers, and it's one of the reasons I hate Activision for killing them. Almost lost my cool there. All of those are the reasons why Transformers Fall of Cybertron is one of my nostalgic video games staff picks.